Parsha Vayu Chai Sorah. These were the years of sorrow. The years of sorrow means she acquired. He is a Yid has to be koina. His years a Yid when he leaves this world is as old as the years, the moments of his life that he acquired. Also in the Parsha of Avram Zokin Baba Yom, and Baba Yom means you have to acquire the days. As we'll see, the difference between a Yid and a Goy is that a Yid understands that every moment is precious. A person leaves this world, Mashail and Toisus ask the steer between two Gemaras. What's the first question? Is it kavatit in the Torah, or is it the nistis v'nasate b'emuna? In other words, was your business? Did you act correctly a halach in business, or did you kavatit in the Torah? It's all one question. The question is, did you live your life? Did you live your life? When you were working, you also have to live your life up Peter, and that's called utilizing time. A person goes to work, and he understands that working is bringing a livelihood for his family, and then he looks at it l'shem shemaim, and he does everything al pi halacha. It's also sakta itzim Torah. A person's got v'gisa b'yom ha'layla. What does it mean v'gisa b'yom ha'layla? You can't always learn day and night, but it means that even when you're osik in other things, it's got to be day and night. I know, I can mention his name, it's L'Shevach, none of you know him. A Yid from Antwerp, Rabbi Vastings, he's 80, I think, today. So I remember he was a neighbor with my in-laws in Antwerp. So he was a businessman, he was a diamond dealer, as everybody in Antwerp. And he used to have long flights, he used to sell all over the world. He used to fly to, so by him, I remember the Gedder was flying to India, was Maseches Moed Koton. And he used to fly to the Far East, to Hong Kong and to Taiwan, and the flight was in accordance, he had a different Masechta, and he used to finish Masechtas on the plane, and so wherever he traveled, the first question was, how long is the flight? Which Masechta he's going to do on that flight? And that's how I remember. And he's today either almost 80, just as a yahrzeit for his wife, who was nifta a year ago, was just the first yahrzeit in Antwerp, and he went through Shas the whole year. In the year of the year of his Petira, he went through a Shas. This is something that, in other words, where you're planning a trip, and this is true for anything. A person leaves yeshiva and goes somewhere. So if you're going back to your dorms, how many mishnayos can you have in mind, or how many this, or any avodah that you choose? This is vayu. You've got to acquire your years. A person is only as old in the next world as his years in this world. It's nice to something to big Musa Haskell, because I go to nursing homes. And the Pasha Yid told me this recently. He told me this recently, like mamish in the afternoon, they all sit down there, and all the 70, 80-year-olds, they play with plasticine, play with Lego, they play with plasticine, and they don't even chap. So he was more of an erch Yid. So he says to me, he says, what am I doing here? He says, what am I doing in this world? Why don't I die? He says, what am I here to play plasticine? The Nakuda is, and it's a very teeth Nakuda. The Nakuda is, Moshe Feinstein didn't play plasticine, and Ravadi and Rabbi Yashua didn't play plasticine when they got older. In other words, a person, when he leaves this world, he's as old as he utilized his years in this world. So therefore, if a person utilized all his life, when he gets to the end of his life, he doesn't play with plasticine. If a person leaves, we're going to soon see with Amalek. That's the sod of Amalek. Amalek is Achrisa de Ovid. He doesn't have anything. He was koifin tches amazing. Doesn't why? Because Amalek, well, the definition between Amalek is he was an ish sodas Rashi Adam bottle. That's why today we're living at the end of the Golas Edom. That's why there's a lot of batola today. One of the problems of the internet and of iPhones and all these things is not just the bad places, not just the tumah, the toyeva, but the pasha, the time wasting. It's mamsha klippa of Adam, klippa of like. So pshat is Esav is Adam bottle. If he's Adam bottle, it means that he didn't utilize any time. So of course he doesn't have tches and of course he doesn't have it after this world, because when he leaves this world, how old is he? Zero, because he didn't utilize any time. So he's zero. He's got no life afterwards. And you see a Davar Pella, you see that the whenever we're Isaac with Mechias Amalek, at the same time we're Isaac with Mechias Amalek, we become very busy. We're so busy doing good things that we've got no time for anything else. Yom Kippur is the Mechias Amalek. The Soil Azazel, the Medrash says, is Esav. And the Soil Azazel is the Mechias Amalek. The Iker Mechias Amalek is Purim, but we know that Purim, Yom Kippurim, Kippurim. Yom Kippurim means that the same avodah. Avodah of Yom Kippurim, same avodah Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is that we throw off the Soil Azazel. It's Mechias Amalek. So after Yom Kippur, there's no time to sin. Why? The Chalach says no time to sin. The first day of Sukkot, you can sin. Why? Because till Sukkot, no time for sin. Why is there no time for sinning? Because you just moich Amalek. If you moich Amalek is the Adam bottle. If you moich Amalek, you don't know what potato is. You're busy. The same thing with Purim. Purim says in Allah, you should make sure to learn a shtickle. Why? Because you'll be so busy with the day, with avodas hayom, with the mitzvahs of the day. So now there's post Yom Kippur and Purim is the Mechias Amalek. He's the Adam bottle. And as soon as you moich Amalek, is then you're so busy. There's no time. Busy with avodas Hashem, with the mitzvahs hayom, etc. So that's the Nakuda. The Nakuda is A person's got to realize that everywhere he goes, a person's got to utilize his days. That's the Sod Iman Yirbu Yemechem. A person's got to he's got to live long days. And that's why, because the Krishma, the first parak of Krishma is all about a person's got to be wherever you are. You're sleeping, you've got to see, what do I enjoy learning or reading about tzaddikim before I go to sleep? Everything's got to be Mesuda, everything's got to be an avoida. And that's the Sod. Vasari Emeinu, she was Baskov, Kabaschov, Kabazain, which means that when a child is Zain, what's his avoida? His avoida is he enjoys Geschmack, he has tainik for things. The person's older, the person's got to utilize every area of his life. A person, even when he's 60, even when he's 20, even when he's 30, even when he's 40, every person can have a day where he's a 7-year-old, and he can have a day where he's 100 years old. One day he feels very old, one day he feels very young, one day he feels when he's 20. And a person got to, the Sorah taught us how to utilize the age. You mamish see by tzaddikim, I've seen this very often by tzaddikim, amitim, you see that they have a certain childishness to them, even when they're old. It's the kedusha, but it's the kedusha, it's a certain masikas, it's a certain ziskai. They have a certain masikas that are so easygoing, and there's certain things that you can laugh at a joke. They have a certain, because they utilized all their years. Baskov, kabaschov, kabazain. And Mamela Krishma is Machayavas. What's Krishma? It's Machayavas. That what's my avodah now? Which Masechta am I learning when I'm flying to India? What am I reading when I go to sleep? What am I doing when I get up? What's my Seder? Everything is avodah. If everything's avodah, so Laman Yir Bo Yemechem. So you have long years. In other words, you acquire your years. You have long years. Vayiyu Chai Sarah. Avram Zokim Baba Yomim. This parasha teaches us. This parasha is the Zivug of Yitzchak and Rivka. The Zivug of Yitzchak and Rivka is Moiled Yaakov and Esav. Yaakov Avinu is the Ishtam Yoshev V'Holim. Yaakov Avinu doesn't waste a second. Even when Yaakov Avinu was busy shepherding the sheep, Sfarim talk about all the avodas and all the yichudim that Avraham Avinu was doing, and how many sheep there were. There were 600,000 sheep, and he was shepherding, and it was all mitzvahs. When he was peeling wood, he was Mekayim mitzvahs tefillin. Avraham Avinu was busy all the time, and he's the sharp contrast to Esav as a Yoshev Bottle. So this parasha is the zivuk of Yitzchak and Rivka that's bringing the bottle and bringing the utilizing the time to the world. The middle of the parasha begins. These were the years of sorrow. These were the years of sorrow. Avram Zokim Baba Yom. These were their days. We have to utilize all our days. We have to utilize every moment of their life. So, I won't keep you any further. Go for the Avodas HaKodesh of breakfast.